What's going on, everybody? This is an episode from the No Gimmicks Needed Wrestling podcast. Do you like podcasts and you want to see the full podcast? Make sure you check out the No Gimmicks Needed Wrestling podcast on all your podcast platforms, such as Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, among many others. But you're listening to the episode right here on YouTube, so make sure you hit that like button and below, and make sure you hit the subscribe button to NC Studios and NC Level Up for all your gaming needs. This is the Nerd Coalition. Enjoy the show.
Yeah, this was not like the greatest of episodes. I will say that it seemed like the whole first half they didn't really get deep into much in the first half. And the second half was what everybody was waiting to hear about, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah. Then the next Dark Side of the Ring episode they did was on Bam Bam Bigelow. Now, Bam Bam Bigelow was somebody I was a fan of growing up. I remember him in the wrestling video games. You know God, what was the nickname they gave Bam Bam Bigelow? The Beast from Asbury Park. So they had DDP on there. They had his sons on there, had his daughter on there, had his ex-wife on there. Talking about him. Now, honestly, when it comes to the Bam Bam Bigelow stuff, Did they
talk about him getting beat up by that drill sergeant?
Which?
Yeah.
His name was like, no, he was a major. My fault.
No, I think I missed that part.
I didn't hear about that one.
It was a major pain joke. Never mind. I thought Lady Sketch would catch it. It was a major pain joke.
Oh God. Okay. Now,
You remember when Bam Bam was in major pain and got beat up?
They mentioned it in the episode.
I missed it because I was.
You didn't see that part?
I was going to
play. He was in major pain. You don't like Major Pain.
I don't like any of David Wayne's stuff.
He's not
really
a big David Wayne's fan.
I
watched Major Pain a lot.
Come on.
But yes, Bam Bam Bigelow he was scrapping with Major Pain.
Oh goodness.
That was the thing.
Oh well, yeah.
I completely missed that reference, but you're right. You got me.
We got. He had his ex-wife and all that. My fault.
Oh, sorry. He trained in Monster Factory with Larry Sharp, and he said he was a big guy with agility. And he could do cartwheels, do moonsaults, stuff like that. My favorite big guy wrestler is Vader, obviously, but they were talking. He is one of the more greater big guys who were more agile. And with that being a thing, made him a huge attraction to people. People wanted to see him wrestling. So Vince McMahon, when he first came in WWF, took him and pushed him in the top storyline where he was doing storylines with Hulk Hogan. And it was like, hey, if you're working with Hogan in the late 80s, you somebody. Mm-hmm. But some of the veterans was just like, was I too fond of Bigelow being young and getting this push? So Andre Giant was in the ring with him, and he was choking him on the ropes, like legit, like pushing him down, because Andre's a scarily strong human being. And stepping on him and talking about something, you need to pay your dues, little buddy.
That's messed up, bro.
After the match, Bigelow left WWF and worked for other various promotions. That's how it happened. Like,
that's really
Andre
weird.
Choked his ass out and then stepped on, was like, you need to pay your dues, little buddy. All right, my bad, I'm gone.
Yeah.
No problem. He goes, works for New Japan, but then he comes back to WWF to main event with LT at WrestleMania 11.
With LT.
What a man. I used to love the salt and pepper shit. Boy, I did that. Q, did you ever see WrestleMania 11? Q Flow? Anybody there? I'm guessing they have it. Well,
my bad.
Is that the one he did?
Are you referring to Lawrence Taylor or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I remember y'all recap about it.
You said you was not happy about it?
No. I said I remember y'all recap about it.
Oh, gotcha. What was you about to say, Brian?
Wait. Which one is the one with Walter Payton?
Whoa. Walter Payton never had a match on there. You talking about just being in the crowd or something?
Yeah, I think he was like with Shawn Michaels or somebody. Because they was calling him Sweetness. Wait, who's Sweetness?
Oh, God. I don't know. The ones I remember with football players had to be WrestleMania 11 or WrestleMania 2.
No, he didn't wrestle. He just would throw a punch here and there.
He did WrestleMania 2 when they had like William the Refrigerator Perry and all them.
I'm gonna look it up and I'm gonna get back to y'all.
Okay. Yeah. So it talked about that how they trusted him to have this match with LT, and how even still looking back on it, I know they claim it as one of the worst WrestleManias and one of the worst wrestling years that WWF had in '95. Mm-hmm. But when I was younger, and I remember, at that time I wasn't watching WWF. I was a WCW guy, but I had a friend in middle school who I found out was a big wrestling fan. He said, "Hey, my brother taped WrestleMania 11. Do you want to see it?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then this was like 1999, 2000, something like that. And go back watching the old wrestling tapes. And I went back on there, and man, I enjoyed that. Even though I understand older Diesel and Michaels probably should have, the chairs made event, but the attraction LT back in those days, plus, bro, you wasn't going over that, Sean. I'm sorry, but yeah, I remember, actually enjoying it. Man, the match actually was not bad. I thought LT, when it comes to celebrities, had one of the better celebrity attraction matches that we had than other. He wasn't no Tyson Fury. I like he was.
That was a lot.
Yeah, he went on Tyson Fury shit, but I think he was pretty good.
I just found it.
Okay.
It's Walter Payton teamed up with Razor to fight Diesel and Shawn.
What event was this?
SummerSlam?
Is that what year?
94.
Oh my goodness.
The sound of realization.
Yeah.
So just weird, but yeah.
They talked to his daughters about some of the problems they had, and she was talking about when she was driving at one point. Her dad would just like nod off at the wheel, and she would have to make up lies like, "Hey, I go to the bathroom," just so he could pull over, and then go to the bathroom, and then he come back and he gonna nod some more. But then he got pulled over by the cops and they arrested him, and her mom said that, "Look, this is probably going to be the last time you're going to see your dad." And she did not know that how much trouble her dad was getting, especially when it came to drugs. And the reason why the drugs started is because since he's a bigger guy and was doing more athletic stuff, his body would tear down more. And the body tear down more would be a look for opioids or Percocets and stuff like that. And when you get hooked on those, because this man was taking like 30 pills a day. So when you get hooked on that kind of stuff and you can't find it, you go to more extreme drugs. So that led him to leaving the WWF after the whole LT and that second run he had, and then he goes to ECW. And so at this time they talk about the infamous ECW match with Taz, where it's like in almost every ECW opening after it happened, you see the big spot of them falling through the ring. I don't know if you ever seen that, Q. I don't know if you're a big ECW guy.
I got into ECW very late, so.
Oh, you got like when it was on TNN and shit.
Or
you ain't talking about WWE ECW, are you?
Yeah. Yeah, I am. When they booed John Cena, they was about to riot if he beat RVD and all that.
Yeah, no. I'm talking about Philly, grimy, 1990s ECW. Yeah.
No, I wasn't there for that.
So they talked about how they went over the spot test, explained how the ring was built and how they constructed that part of the ring when it happens. And it was a good spot that the fans ended up cheering for it, and he wanted to make sure that Taz is all right. To talk about the kind of guy that he was, even though he was on drugs. Then he eventually goes to WCW. This is what I did not like, Bam Bam Bigelow. Not because of him as a person, just because, he's sloppy. He was sitting there wrestling, like, one of them athletic shirts on and stuff like that. The whole Bam and Bigelow thing just kind of like went away. And the drugs ended up banning their relationship, and they ended up getting divorced. And unfortunately, he had an accidental drug overdose January 19th, 2007, and he passed away. And in the dark side, his ex-wife, is just like, she's kind of brutally honest, to be honest with you. She said, I don't like the word accidental overdose, because what, you accidentally took the pills and you died? You've been taking this for a long time, and it just caught up with you. I was like, sheesh. Like, she wasn't pulling no punches, because you could tell, like, hey, she was angry, but she had to be strong for her kids, and I understand that, being a parent, you gotta be strong for the kids, but she was not really having it with him when it came to, like, his drug problem. So
good for her.
Yeah, I'm glad you're back. I was just talking about being Bigelow's wife and how she wasn't holding back, with the drug problem. If you could,
that's very true. She was just like, look, she was definitely like, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I was like, damn, sis, was not expecting you to be so candid. But she kind of was just, she was honest about it, and I think that's reflected in the fact that they didn't remain married, and she didn't just let him come around the kids and enable his behavior if he wasn't really going to be serious about getting help, which he wasn't. He didn't seem to be, rather. Yeah.
So, that one was more on the simple side compared to Abdul the Butcher.
It's the same formula you see in a lot of the dark side of the rings.
But the one y'all was seeing tonight, the one I'm really excited for is this Bash at the Beach 2000. I want to see this episode.